Hello students, this side Pushpen Singh Rajawat and I am here to teach you a very fantastic subject of science, that is chemistry. What is chemistry, that we are going to deal later on. So let us start with the first lecture of our chapter number first. So here the introduction, that is what we are going to study. We are going to study the chemical reactions and equations, which is a very important topic. Why it's very important? Because if we are studying the chemistry, then we should know that the matters that are interacting with one another, they are represented, or they have to be represented with some kind of equations. So what are these equations we are going to study here? Are they the same just like the mathematics equations, or they are somewhat different? So we are going to see in this chapter that the topics that we are going to study and the reactions and all of that. So here is the lecture 1, and I am Pushpen Singh Rajawat of chemistry department, or you can remember my initial, that is PSRC sir. The short form will be good for you. So let us start with the first lecture. So before starting with the first lecture, I want to discuss in this particular chapter. So what are the contents that we are going to discuss? So first of all, the topics that we are going to discuss in this chapter are: number first, that is we will see what is a chemical change, and what will lead us for the chemical reaction. So first of all, we will see what is a chemical change. And if there is a chemical change, you must know that if there is a chemical change, then it is understood that there must have been some chemical reaction have taken place. So for writing that chemical reaction, what we have to do, we have to write a chemical equation. So what we are going to study? Chemical equation. The third, that the third and the important is what, which is a subtopic, or you can say which is a subtopic of this particular this topic, that is the balancing. The balancing of chemical equation. This is very much important. The balancing is very much important, because when you balance some chemical equation, you will get the idea of the law of conservation of mass and how it is applied to the chemical reactions. The next thing that we are going to study, that are the types of chemical reactions. The type of chemical reactions, which include certain types, that is the redox reactions, and before starting with the redox reaction, you have to study what? The oxidation number. So you will get a depth knowledge of what is an oxidation number and what are the redox reactions. So certain different types of reactions you are also going to study, like the combination reaction, decomposition reaction, I write it here, displacement reaction, and double displacement reaction. So these are the major important topics that you are going to study. Apart from these important topics, these all are the important, these will make the base for your 10th standard and also for the competitive level examinations, because most of the questions are asked from this particular topic. And what do they ask? They ask the how can you balance this particular equation. So you must know that what are the steps that are required for balancing a particular chemical equation. The next and important thing is the oxidation number. If you know the oxidation number of any element or in present in a compound, then you can easily say that whether it's a redox equation or it's not a redox equation. And these are the name equations. These name equations are also very much important. Apart from these important topics, some other topics are Okay, let me some another page. That is, some other topics are, that is oxidation in daily life. So here we see the corrosion, or we can say the digestion that we the food that we take, it's digested in our body, and in this digestion, the which reaction takes on, the oxidation reaction takes on there. So we are also going to see the digestion reactions here, and let me write. So these are the some of the topics that we are going to study. So let us, okay, so let us start with the very first chapter, with the very first lecture of our chapter. So moving to a slide, that is, okay, that is the chemistry. So first of all, you should know what is chemistry. The chemistry is that branch of science that deals with what? That deals with the properties and the composition of matter. That deals with the properties and composition of matter and the changes that matter undergoes by various interactions. So what does this mean? This is a definition, but what does this mean? This means that we are focusing only on the matter. We are focusing only on the matter. So what is matter? Matter, you all know, anything that has mass and occupies space is matter. And remember one most important thing, that in chemistry we deal with the matter. We only deal with matter. We never deal with the energy. In some cases like thermodynamics and equilibrium, we may deal with that energy part, but the part of the matter, the mass part, is very much important. If someone says weight in chemistry, he simply means that he is talking about the mass. So you must remember, if someone is referring to weight, he is referring to mass, because the weight, the word like weight does not have any meaning in chemistry. So you know what is matter. If I say the solution that is present, the solution that is present in this container is a matter. The this container is also a matter. The gas which is present in it is also a matter. So how do the matters interact? When I put this solution into this solution, or this solution into that solution, there will be some kind of a chemical change. If there is a chemical change happening, it means what? It simply means that the matter which is present in this container and the matter which is present in this container, or I can say that flask, they are interacting with each other, and they are forming something different, a new chemical compound. So what will be that new chemical compound? I have to study its properties also. So it is all about that. You deals with what? You deals with the composition, that is what will be its formula. You deal with what? Its properties, that what are the main properties that the particular new substance that has formed has, and the interactions. So what is the meaning of the interactions? That how do they react with each other? So this is all about the chemistry. It seems a very small topic, but no, it's a very vast subject. So let us study. So here is another slide which shows you that if I had poured what, some kind of metal in this particular solution. So you have seen what you are seeing this gas is evolving in all the containers. There is the evolution of gas, you can see here. So this is the matter. This particular element is also matter, which is interacting with this solution which is present in flask, which is also matter, and a gas is evolved. And if I am interested which gas has been evolved, so I have to study its properties also. So these are all about the matter and the interaction. And in this particular chapter, as I have told you earlier, we are going to deal with what? The reactions and the balancing. I know this is metal, and if it is present in particular kind of a solution, so the gas evolved is might be something. So I should be able to name this reaction. What kind of reaction it is, I have to name it. And if I want to balance the reaction, I can also balance this. But first I have to know how can I write a chemical equation. So let us start with the chemical compound. So what is a chemical compound? A chemical compound is formed as a result of a chemical change. A chemical compound is formed as a result of a chemical change. Whenever there is a chemical change, it means that a chemical reaction has taken place. And if the chemical reaction has taken place, it means what? It means a new chemical compound has formed. So if we are interested, we can study its properties and all that, whatever we want to do. If we want to write the equation, we have to write its equation, and also we have to balance that particular equation. So, and in this process, different types of energies such as heat, light, electrical energies may also be absorbed or evolved. The energies is a very much important part. Okay, how it is important? Because for any reaction to occur, there must be something that happens. What is that something? That something is what? That is the breaking of bonds and the making of new bonds. And for the breaking of the bonds, if you have to break the bonds, it means that you have to move the atoms apart. You need some kind of energy. So for that process, energy is being used or is being utilized. And for the making of new bonds, some kind of energy is released. Why some kind of energy is released? Because the new chemical compound being formed should be much stable. If it is stable, then it is giving out the heat energy or any kind of energy to the surrounding. That's why it will attain its stability. So moving to the chemical reactions. Moving to the chemical reactions. So what are these chemical reactions? What are these chemical reactions? Chemical reactions are the result of a chemical change. We can say if a chemical change has occur, it means some chemical reaction must have taken place. If a chemical reaction must have taken place, then what we have to do? We have to write its chemical equation. So let us see what is this particular kind of chemical reaction. So starting, you see this container here contains, it is water. This is what? Water which is present in a container. And which, what have you dropped here? A substance you have dropped in this container. So the name of that substance is what? That is sodium. And it is what? An element. Or you can say that we are going to study further that it is a metal. So we are not going to discuss what is metal and what are non-metals. That we will discuss in the chapter number 3, that are metals and non-metals. So just see the chemical reaction, and after that I'm going to tell you that how can you write the chemical equation for that. That is the magic of chemistry. So here you see, when sodium is put in this container, the sodium metal is bubbling here and there with the evolution of this gas. And when this gas releases, due to the heat of this reaction, it means what? That energy is being released. It means it can either be in the form of heat, light, or electric energy. Here what you see, here you are seeing that the vapors are coming out from this particular container, and the heat energy is evolved. The heat energy is so high that the hydrogen gas which has been evolved here catches fire immediately, and the sodium metal, you see here, that starts to burn. Or what is the ultimate thing that you see here? That is the hydrogen gas that has been evolved is burning. And since sodium is so much reactive metal, when it reacts with water, it explodes. So that was the reaction that you have seen here. So this is a particular reaction, and this reaction is happening because there is happening a chemical change. So how can you write that chemical change? So for writing that chemical change, you have to write what? You have to write a chemical equation. We are going to deal with the chemical equations, balancing, in the next lecture, but for this reaction I am going to write a chemical equation for you. So let us start and write that the symbol for sodium is Na when it is reacting with what? That is water, which is H2O. So let me erase this part. So what it is forming? It is forming NaOH, which is what? Sodium hydroxide, and with the evolution of H2 gas. Since the gas is evolving, so I can write the upward arrow here. And you should know the in examination questions, the question been asked which gas burns with a pop sound. So you always know that the hydrogen gas, the gas which is present in here, the gas which is present, the gas which is present here, this is hydrogen, and it explodes, or you can say there will be an explosion when it catches fire, and it burns with a pop sound, and it burns with a pop sound. And what does this pop sound sounds like or feel like? Just like pop. The sound that is coming like that is the pop sound. Or you have also seen when opening the cap of the bottle, you observe this sound. So this is a particular equation that I have written for this particular chemical reaction. And you know that the sodium, it is a substance, and this is water, this is also substance, or you can say these are the matters, and they are reacting with each other, or they are interacting with each other to form some new substances. So this is a chemical change happening in here. So first of all, what you have to do, you have to study what is a chemical change. And after the chemical change, when you study, you are going to study the chemical reactions. That how can you say that chemical reaction has taken place? What are the various types or the characteristics on which you can say that chemical reaction has taken place? This part is our ultimate goal, to write a chemical equation for any chemical reaction taking place. So for this part, how can you write this part? For this part, you have to wait till the next lecture. So moving to the next slide, that is a chemical change. So what is the chemical change? The change that takes place in the state, texture, color, electrical or magnetic properties. And the most and important thing is that along with the change in its molecular composition. So what does this mean? The change in its molecular composition. The change in the molecular composition means that its structure changes, the arrangement changes. What is the meaning of this? So I am here, you can see a very simple example. Just like if I'm having a cube of ice, this is what an ice cube. When I place it in this room, so due to the heat energy which it takes from the surrounding, it melts. Ice cube melts and forms what? Water. It melts and forms what? Melts and forms water. So this is one thing. So this is ice. So let me see, this change is a chemical change or a physical change. For that, I have to know its molecular formula or its molecular structure. So for its molecular formula is what? Its molecular formula is H2O, and here oxygen is attached with what? Two hydrogen atoms. So these small circles are what? These small circles are hydrogen atom. You can write it as, you can represent it as here like this, or you can also write in the form of the bonds, getting either this or that. So what is happening here? It is changing into water. And what is the formula of water? The formula of water is what? H2O. That is one oxygen atom attached with two hydrogen atom at certain angle. Or you can simply write that just like this. So let us examine, has the molecular structure changes or not? So what is the molecular formula here? H2O. What is the structure here? Just like that, or you can write it, represent it like this. So after the change, what is the molecular formula? H2O. So nothing changes in here. How its atoms are arranged? Nothing has been changed. One oxygen and two hydrogen atoms are there, or you can write it like this. So this is what? This is not a chemical change. This is a physical change, because the composition has not changed. This is what? This is a physical change, because the composition has not changed. Getting? Focus on my words. The composition has not changed. If there will be change in its composition, then I can call it as a chemical change. So here you see what? Here you see this is the solid state of matter and it is going into what? It is going into the liquid state. So here the state is changing, here the state is changing, but the molecular composition or the molecular structure is not changing. Getting? So what is the chemical change? Chemical change is defined, or it is a change in the state, texture, color, electrical or magnetic properties along with the molecular composition or structure. Getting? So this is an example of physical change. So what does the chemical change look like? Or I can say, if the chemical reaction takes place, or if there will be a chemical change, so whether its molecular formula changes, yes, absolutely, its molecular formula must have changed. Its molecular formula should be changing. So let us see the particular. Say if I say I'm having what? Hydrogen, when it is reacting with oxygen, it forms what? H2O. You have seen in the previous slide that the gas evolving was hydrogen, and it burns with a pop sound. So how it burns? It burns in the presence of this oxygen, and oxygen is what? Oxygen is a supporter of combustion. It supports combustion. So this is the hydrogen. You can this is one atom of hydrogen, this is another atom of hydrogen. So they are attached with a chemical bond or some chemical forces in between them. So these two atoms are of hydrogen. This bigger two circles are of oxygen. Let me change the pen so that you won't get confused. These two bigger circles are what? They are representing the atom of oxygen, and when they form H2O, it forms what? Like so. What do you see? You see, let me change the color. So what you see here? You see here you are having what? Two atoms of hydrogen attached together, and after the change, what you see? The hydrogen atoms are no longer attached to each other. It means that the composition of hydrogen molecule has changed. One point. Or you can also say here the two oxygen atoms are attached with each other, but when you see here, you are seeing only what? That oxygen atom is attached with the hydrogen atom with some forces, or you can say with some chemical bond. So this particular reaction, or I'm writing this particular reaction because why? Because the chemical change has taken place, or a chemical reaction has occurred. That's why I have written a chemical equation for that. So what you have to see that when the atoms, the arrangement of atoms changes, the new substance is formed. So this is what? This is the chemical change, because you see what? There is change. What is the change? It is gaseous state. It is also in the gaseous state, and it is formed in the liquid state or in the gaseous state. So the state is being changed. So state is being changed. That is not much more important. What is the much more important for a chemical change? The chemical composition. The chemical composition must have changed, and here you see what? The change in the chemical composition. Okay, moving back. So these are what? These are the chemical equations. So after what you have seen here, let me erase this. So after whatever you have seen, what you have seen, that if there is a chemical change, so what you have to write? You have to write the chemical equation for that. So chemical change is represented by, how can you represent that chemical change? It should have been represented by a chemical equation. So before writing the chemical equation, what you are knowing, what you have to know, that the substances that are reacting are reactants. They are called with a different name, that are reactants, and the substances that are produced, they are also called with a different name, that are products. So what is happening in the chemical change? The reactants, which are the old substances, are transforming into new substances, are transforming into new the old substances are transforming into new substances. So this is all about a chemical change. So let us study. Okay, before moving to the next slide, let us see this particular chemical change. So I'm starting here. So you can see what is happening here. The solution was there. The solution was what? The solution was colorless. And when you put some few drops of some other solution, what is happening? The change in the color takes place. So this is what the change in color, which is uh, following with the change in its molecular composition. So this is also what? This is also a chemical change. So let's move into the another, that are the characteristics of a chemical reactions. So what are the characteristics of a chemical reactions? You should be knowing that. That is, it has what? It has reactants and products. And reactant, I have told you what are the reactants? The substances that are reacting with each other. And what are the products? Products are the new substances that are formed. The new substances that are formed, or we can say the substances which are produced as a result of a chemical reaction or a chemical change, are products. Second, that these reactions involves breaking and making of bonds. I have already told you what happens if certain substances are reacting with each other. So they are in the equilibrium state. So they are doing what they have to, or what we have to do, we have to overcome that energy or the chemical bond. We have to break that chemical bond so that the atoms will be free, that it reacts with some other atom. So what involves in the chemical reaction? That is the breaking and the making of chemical bonds. So this is very much important, the breaking and making of chemical bonds. Moving, that is, to the third point, products are what? I have already told you products are what? These are the new substances that are formed in any chemical reaction. Okay, it is very much important point. The chemical changes are irreversible. The chemical changes are permanent. And if I'm talking about chemical change, it means I'm talking about the chemical reaction. Because of the chemical reaction, chemical change has occurred. So chemical changes, or I can say the chemical reactions are permanent. They are irreversible. The next is that the properties of the products are entirely different from the properties of the reactants. Why it is different? Because in the reactant side there were some substances, but in the product side the new substances has been formed. So its properties will be different from each other. That's why you are calling it a chemical change. Apart from other forms of energy, in some reactions, what you have seen, in some reactions you are seeing the form of energy, that is, the energy is liberated in the form of heat. But it is not always like that. The other forms of energies like heat and electricity or electrical energies are also utilized for carrying out a chemical change. Either they can be absorbed or they can be evolved. So these are the characteristics of a chemical change. And apart from these chemical changes, the chemical formation of product is accompanied by the various characteristics. So what are these characteristics? Let us see individually one by one. So what will be the characteristics? If I say the reactant is reacting with some another, so there must be what? Evolution of gas, change in color, formation of a precipitate, that you have seen in a video, that white color precipitate has been formed, or white color substance has been formed. So what was that substance? That was a precipitate. And what is a precipitate? Precipitates are insoluble solids. Precipitate are insoluble solids present in a solution. It means what? Due to the effect of gravity, they will settle down at the bottom of the test tube or container, whatever you are taking. And what is the other characteristics? That is, there will be change in the state. So these are some of the characteristics that we are going to discuss in this lecture. So here the point is evolution of gas, or you can say whenever the substances are reacting, the gas is being evolved, or the change of color, you know this point, color will be changed. The formation of precipitate, this term I have told you what are the precipitate. These are the insoluble solids which are present. These are the insoluble solids which are present in what? These are the insoluble solids which are present in a solution, and since they are insoluble, they will settle down. The next is what? The energy change. For carrying out any chemical equation, what is necessary? change in energy will be necessary. Either the energy is absorbed or the energy will be released. This we are going to study in the coming slides. And the next is what? The change of state, either from the solid to liquid to gas, or like this. Getting? So there must be what? There must be the change of state. So moving to the evolution of gas. Before moving to the evolution of gas, let us see this particular video where you seeing that a metal, zinc metal, is reacting with acid, and when it reacts with acid there is evolution of gas. The gas evolves from there. So if the gas is evolving, it means what? If the gas is evolving, it simply means that a chemical reaction has occurred. The chemical reaction has occurred, and for that what we have to do? We have to write a chemical equation. So let us play this video. Here you see the zinc pieces. Note the color of the zinc pieces. Zinc pieces are grayish in color. So when you put it in the H2SO4 or sulfuric acid, you can also put it in the hydrochloric acid, but the reaction would be somewhat different. So where you have put it? You have put the zinc pieces in the sulfuric acid, and when you put these, you see the bubbles that are forming and that are coming out from this particular solution. If the bubbles are coming out, it means what? The gas is evolving. And which gas has evolved here? So if I'm going to write the chemical equation for that, I can write it as H2SO4, which is used for the sulfuric acid. This is the symbol for sulfuric acid, and when it reacts with zinc, it forms what? It forms zinc sulfate, that is along with the gas, that is hydrogen, H2 gas. So where the bubbles that you are seeing in here are what? These are the bubbles of hydrogen gas. If I bring a burning splinter near the mouth of this test tube, you will hear the explosion, very small explosion with a pop sound, which indicates the presence of the hydrogen gas being evolved. So this is the reaction. I have written the reaction, and how I have written the reaction, for that you have to wait till the next lecture. So let me erase this. So moving to the next slide, that is the other examples. So what are the other examples of the evolution of gas? That are when KClO3, potassium chlorate, when potassium chlorate reacts with what? When potassium chlorate is heated, it forms what? KCl, that is potassium chloride, with the evolution of oxygen gas. The oxygen gas evolved here, and in this particular reaction, what you use? You use manganese dioxide as a catalyst. So what does this catalyst term means? For that you have to wait for lecture 3. So we are going to discuss what are the catalysts in lecture 3 in detail. So here the evolution of gas takes place, and this reaction, this particular reaction, is used in laboratories for making oxygen. If you required oxygen in laboratories, how can you make? You can simply use this reaction, or you can take the compound and heat it in the presence of manganese dioxide. So what do you get? You get the oxygen gas. The second reaction is, that is FeS, that is iron sulfide. When it reacts with H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid, it forms ferrous sulfate along with the evolution of H2S. So how will you detect that H2S gas has formed? So this particular gas has a rotten egg like smell. Rotten egg like smell. So this particular reaction has what? This particular reaction has a smell which is a rotten egg like smell. So due to which you can detect that which gas has been evolved? That H2S gas has been evolved from here. And oxygen, for the detection of oxygen supports combustion. If you bring a burning splinter near the mouth of the test tube where the oxygen gas is being evolved, it burns clearly. It shows that the presence of oxygen. So moving to another reaction, that is reaction of calcium carbonate. So when calcium carbonate is heated, and for heated we have to write what? We have to write this symbol, this triangle, the symbol triangle indicates in chemistry the heat. It means what? That you are heating this particular substance, and when you are heating it, it forms what? Calcium oxide. This is a product, and also the another product which is carbon dioxide. So how can you detect the presence of carbon dioxide? For the detection of the presence of carbon dioxide, what you have to do? You have to pass that carbon dioxide let me change the color. So this is what this is having, lime water. What is having? This is having lime water, which is colorless. So lime water, if you pass through carbon dioxide gas, if you pass through the carbon dioxide gas in the lime water, what happens? What you see in here, you see the color of this reaction, or the color of the solution which is present in the test tube, it changes to white. It changes to milky white. It means what? That on passing the CO2 gas, if you are passing the CO2 gas in here, if the color changes to white, it means white for the lime water. If the color changes white, it means what? That the gas that you are passing here was carbon dioxide. So what is the result that we get from here? That is carbon dioxide turns lime water, carbon dioxide turns lime water milky. Carbon dioxide turns lime water milky. So how it turns the lime water milky? So for that, if I write the equation just like that, this is lime water CaOH whole twice. When it reacts with carbon dioxide, it is forming what? CaCO3, which is what? Which is a white colored substance along with H2O. So due to the presence of calcium carbonate, the lime water turns milky. It is also a chemical reaction, of course, you all know. So these are the examples that we have studied. Moving to the change of color. So how the color changes? So before we starting this video, what you have to see, you have to see this video clearly, and after that we are going to write some of its observations. This is very much important. Pay proper attention. That is the color of the substance that is present in this test tube. So let's see this particular reaction. What we are doing here, we are heating a particular substance by putting it in a test tube, and when you see this, what you observe here, you observe the fumes that are coming out of this substance. Also observe the color of that substance. Have you seen the brown fumes here? Yeah, you are seeing the brown fumes that are evolving from this test tube. So what are these brown fumes? Brown fumes indicate the presence of nitrogen dioxide. So here in this particular chapter, you are going to know the names, the color, and the presence. How can you detect the gas that is evolving? So here you see what? Here you see the nitrogen gas is being evolved. This is the first observation. The second observation is what? If you bring the burning splint near the mouth of the test tube, it begins to glow. It begins to glow. So what is the third observation? The third observation is the change in the color. So let us see what are the chemical changes are taking place here, and for that I am going to write the chemical equation for you. So let us examine what are the changes. So these are some of the changes. Let us write. After the completion of this video, I am going to write this. So there are three observations, no? The first, the change of the color. The second, the color of the brown fumes, and third is the evolution of oxygen gas. The gas that is being evolved here is oxygen gas. So at last we are going to write all the observations in one box. Okay, so what are the changes that you observe here? That is the change in color. So the lead nitrate, which was white in color, is changing to yellow color due to the formation of lead oxide. The second is what? Fumes is coming out, or the fumes is observed. Since the color of the fumes is what? Brown. The color of the fumes is what? Brown. It indicates the presence of nitrogen dioxide. Also, if you bring the burning splint near the mouth of the test tube, it reignites. It means what? It shows that the oxygen gas is also being produced. So these are the observations of the chemical change. So how can you write the change? So for that we are using chemical equation. So what we are having, lead nitrate, the formula of lead nitrate is PbNO3 whole twice. This is the formula of lead nitrate. You have studied the making of chemical formulas in your class 9. So when it is heated, and for the heat what I use the symbol delta. It means this particular reaction involves what? Breaking and making of new bonds. So the energy is utilized in the breaking. The more energy is utilized in breaking the bonds than those are which are produced by the making of bonds. So it forms what? Lead oxide, that is PbO, and the color of lead oxide is yellow. Along with what? The evolution of NO2 gas. The NO2 gas are what? These are of brown color. These are of brown color, and also oxygen gas evolves here. So this is the goal of this chapter is we are able to write the chemical equation for any chemical change. And second goal is what? I have to name the particular reaction. What is the name of this particular reaction? In which category does this reaction comes? This reaction comes in the category of decomposition. It comes in the the category of decomposition reaction. And number third point, it can also comes in the category of endothermic reactions. It also comes in the category of what? Endothermic reaction. And another category, is it an oxidation or is it a redox equation or not? Yes, it is a redox equation. And for that you have to wait for the whole chapter, because when the whole chapter completes you will be able to answer each and every question. That is, how can you write the chemical equation, what is the category where you have to place that particular chemical equation or a chemical reaction, and the third, whether it's a redox reaction or not a redox reaction, and what will be their oxidation number. So you are able to write it all after the completion of the chapter. Stay connected. So moving to the next slide, that is the other example. So what are the other examples that you see? That is the rusting of iron. So is there any color change? Yes, the color changes. The color of the iron changes to reddish brown. The color of the iron changes to reddish brown. The grayish color of iron changes to reddish brown. This indicates that the chemical reaction has taken place. Next is the reaction between copper sulfate and zinc. The copper sulfate solution is what? The copper sulfate solution is blue in color, and when it reacts with zinc, the color changes to what? The color changes to colorless. The color changes to what? Colorless. So there is change in color. Also you see there is deposition of copper at the bottom of the test tube. The other example is what? Heating of sugar. You all know what is sugar. We are using sugar. So what is the color of sugar? The color of sugar is white. And when you heat the sugar, what are the changes that you observe? We will see that changes in the upcoming slide. So let us see. Here you see Bunsen burner, and out of the Bunsen burner a blue flame is coming out, which indicates the complete combustion. And see how we are hitting this sugar. We are hitting it gently so that the heat energy is utilized or it is distributed. So do you see some of the changes here? Yeah, the sugar starts to melt. First the sugar is melting, and you can see clearly the color of the sugar. The white sugar is changing to black. Getting? So now you know that on hitting the sugar, what are the changes that you observe? The color changes. So if the color is changed, it means what? Some chemical reaction have taken place, and for that chemical reaction I am going to write here a chemical reaction for you. So this is the black color. This is the black color which is obtained. It means what? It means what? That a new product is formed. So this was the previous color, white, and this was the color which is obtained after the ending of a chemical reaction. So what is the chemical equation for that sugar? The formula of sugar is what? C12H22O11. This is the formula for sugar. And when I heat this, Oh, so when I heat it, what forms here? Here forms carbon along with the evolution of a gas, that is H2O. It means that the fumes that were coming out of this test tube are what? They are the water vapors. They are the water vapors. And the black color appears here is because of this carbon, and carbon is black in color. So this is a particular equation. Remember, this equation is not balanced. For the balancing, we are going to move to the next lecture where we are using how can we balance a particular reaction and equation. So moving to another slide, that is the formation of precipitate. So how the formation of precipitate takes place. Here you are using what? Barium chloride, which is a colorless solution. When it is mixed with sodium sulfate, Na2SO4, which is also what? Which is also a colorless solution. When you mix both of them, you get what? You get the white insoluble solid, which after some time settle down at the bottom of the test tube. So it is due to the presence of the formation of barium sulfate, which settles down at the bottom of the test tube. So here you see the formation of precipitates when you mix two different compounds. The formation of lead iodide precipitate. So we are going to see how the lead iodide precipitate is formed. This is what? This is potassium nitrate solution. And what is coming from this dropper? What is coming here? You see, that is potassium iodide solution is coming from here. So when the lead nitrate solution mixed with potassium iodide solution, a yellow color formation or a yellow color substance is forming. The yellow color substance is what? The yellow color substance is potassium iodide. Let me correct it. So the yellow color substance is what? Potassium iodide. So potassium iodide is what? How the potassium iodide is found? Potassium iodide is found by the reaction between these two chemicals, and you see a very bright yellow color. Moving to another slide, that is the energy change. How the energy change takes place. So energy changes, you should have known that for a particular chemical reaction to take place, either energy should be absorbed or the energy should be released. If an energy is absorbed, it means what? It is an endothermic reaction. If the energy is released, it is an exothermic reaction. Energy can be in any form, either heat, light or electricity. So if for the exothermic reactions energy is given out, and for the endothermic reactions energy is absorbed. So let us see the another example. Here I am using the magnesium ribbon or the magnesium metal, and when I heat it in the presence of oxygen, or when I heat it simply because oxygen is a supporter of combustion, so the burning starts only in the presence of oxygen. So when it burns in the presence of oxygen, what happens? So this equation is very much important. See this video. Also see the color of this magnesium ribbon. It is also grayish in color, but a dull gray. So before burning this magnesium ribbon, what you have to do? You have to rub it with the sandpaper so that the dullness or the layer of magnesium oxide removes, the upper layer of magnesium oxide removes, which will be restricting this particular reaction. Okay. So what you observe in here, yeah, the magnesium, how the magnesium burns? The magnesium burns with the white dazzling flame. This is very much important, how it burns. It burns with a white. It burns with a white dazzling flame. So what does this white dazzling flame? The white dazzling flame here is a very bright flame that you have seen here. So after the completion, So what happens after this? After the completion of this reaction, what you observe here, that is a white color of magnesium oxide. So this is what? This is the formation of magnesium oxide, which is white in color. So this is the energy change. So where you have seen the energy change, okay, remember the energy that you are giving at the starting of this reaction, where you have given the energy in the burning of this metal. So you are providing very small amount of energy. So I am writing the small amount of energy as this E. And when the energy that is released in the form of heat and light energy, that was a bigger energy, which was indicated by this bigger circle. So what is the net change? Here very less amount of energy is needed, but at the output or at the product side, very large amount of energy is released. So the overall reaction is what? The overall reaction is exothermic, because when I make the sum, or that is when I subtracting this from this, what I get the negative. If I subtracting this particular energy from this energy, what I am getting the energy in the negative terms. It means the energy is liberated, or I can simply say the total energy is what? Total energy of reactant minus the total energy at the product side. Getting? Or you can simply see the large amount of energy is liberated from here, which is indicated by E. So since the energy is liberated or liberating, it indicates what? It indicates the exothermic reaction. So for the exothermic reaction, how can you write? The reactant, which is indicated by R, it forms what? Products, which is indicated by P, and the energy, which is indicated by E. So for exothermic reaction, what you have to write? You have to write it like this. It indicates that the energy is in the product side. Energy is in the product side. It means what? The energy is being released. So this is an exothermic reaction. Moving to another, that is endothermic reaction. So what are endothermic reactions? Endothermic reactions are those reactions which are accompanied with the absorption of the energy. The whatever you energy give to the reactant, that are being absorbed. So how these energies are absorbed? When you heat. So when you heat carbon and sulfur together, there will be the formation of carbon disulfide. So you are heating these two chemicals for the formation of this product. So you are using what? You are giving the heat energy to the reactant. So how can I write it as? I can also write it as reactant plus energy gives product. So endothermic reactions are written in this form. So you can also put this energy above the arrow, and heat energy is also a form of energy. Heat is also a form of energy. The second example is electrolysis of water. So what happens in the electrolysis of water? H2O in the presence of electricity, or when we pass electricity through the water, it breaks down into hydrogen and oxygen molecules. So here is what? Here this is the reactant, and the electricity is a form of energy. So you are providing energy to this reactant or reactant molecules for the products to come out. The third is what? The photosynthesis. Yes, the photosynthesis, that reaction that you are studying in your biology. And what happens in the photosynthesis reactions? That is the carbon dioxide with water along with the energy, or you can write here that energy. What is that energy? That energy is the sun energy. In the presence of chlorophyll, it forms what? It forms glucose, that is C6H12O6, and the byproduct that is formed in this particular reaction is what? Oxygen. So this reaction, so carbon dioxide, water are what? These are the reactants, and energy is shown, and energy is what? Energy is the sun's energy. This is what? This is the chlorophyll here is the pigment that are present in the green plants, and it forms what? It is forming these products. So the photosynthesis reaction is also an example of endothermic reaction. So next and last, the slide that is coming, that is the change of state. How the state changes? The state changes from solid to liquid to gaseous form. So how these state of changes? These changes like that. Here you can see the hydrogen that you are using, it is in the gaseous state. The oxygen that are using, that is in the gaseous state, and when they react together, the water that is formed is in the liquid state. So here you see the gaseous state is changing into the liquid state, which is also a characteristic of a chemical reaction. It means that for a particular chemical reaction to occur, there must be some of the characteristics that we have discussed: the evolution of gas, formation of precipitate, change of color, energy change, or the change of state. They must have taken place. Not one, or one more than one may also take place. Just like that, in this example, the evolution of energy also takes place. So you can also write this example in the energy change. And after, if I'm writing this like this, so it is simply what? Reactant, because these are what reactants. It is forming products along with the energy. So this is the product and this is the energy. So this is what kind of reaction? This is the exothermic reaction. Very good. This is an exothermic reaction. So that this is not necessary that only one characteristic will be shown. More than one characteristics can also be shown. So in this lecture you have studied about the chemical reaction, and you can categorize the chemical reaction depending upon these characteristics. So this is all for the today's lecture. We'll meet you in the next lecture. Till then, stay safe. Thank you all.